I hate my daughter. What should I do? The prettier and smarter she is, the more I hate her. I flipped through the pages of this post as if watching a joke, but the more I read, the more shocked I became. Every detail in the text about the relationship with the daughter seems to match my own experience. How could that be? My mom is the person who loves me most in the world. She loves me so much that I often feel guilty toward my brother. I had just come back from a wild day out over the weekend when my brother started complaining to me. Mom is biased. She always gives you money to go out and have fun every weekend, no matter how late you come back. She never scolds you and trusts you completely, but me, either she drags me to boring places like museums and libraries, or it's just some dull park. My mom looked at me and smiled knowingly, winking, to appease him. My mom piled his bowl high with seafood. The aroma was irresistible. Overflowing crab roe and enticingly fresh shrimp, among other delights. It made my mouth water just looking at it. Where am I being partial? That's pure nonsense. Here, the big crab is all for you. My brother pouted, unconvinced. That's because your sister is allergic to crab. My mom was caught red-handed and felt a bit embarrassed. In the end, she had to reluctantly give him a big red envelope to shut him up, seeing how easily satisfied my younger brother was. I actually felt a little guilty. At night, my mom again acted like a thief, signaling me to sleep in her bedroom. There were originally 3 bedrooms in the house, but my mom said she got used to holding me while sleeping since I was little, so one of them was converted into a study, which my younger brother jokingly called his purgatory. When my dad came back from business trips, she would sometimes make him sleep in the study, and as a mama's girl, every weekend or holiday at home, I was blissfully cuddled to sleep by my mother. What should I do if I hate my daughter? The prettier and smarter she is, the more I hate her. When I came across this post, I was so angry I laughed. When I turned around to show it to my mom, I found she had already fallen asleep with her phone in hand. I had no choice but to continue scrolling through the posts. This kind of bandwagoning is truly disgusting. I have a son and a daughter. The eldest is a girl, and the younger one is a boy. With a 4-year age gap between them, to be honest, I really don't like my daughter, and I even feel she doesn't deserve to eat good food, so I often say she's allergic, like to seafood. Today I made a seafood meal, and seeing her greedy look, her eyes practically glued to the plate, it was disgusting. My blood instantly ran cold. My brother and I also have a 4-year age difference. I'm also allergic to seafood. Today, my family also made seafood. A coincidence, right? My gaze fell on my mother's sleeping face, comforting myself. Don't I know whether my mom loves me or not? Even my younger brother envies me. My grandparents favored boys over girls, always partial to my uncle. My mom used to grit her teeth whenever she mentioned this. Penny, our family absolutely does not tolerate any favoritism toward sons over daughters. The hardships I've endured, I won't let you experience them again. Thinking of the words my mother once said, I felt much more at ease. This world is so vast, with so many people posting online. There are always those with similar experiences to mine, nothing unusual. On the day my daughter came of age, she bought a V-neck red dress and told me she was going out for dinner with friends in the evening. What kind of schemes can women have? She just wants to show off to her male classmates, doesn't she? My palms broke out in a cold sweat. V-neck red dress. I have one too. On my 18th birthday, my mom took my brother along to go shopping with me. She said she wanted to buy me new clothes as a gift. Your daughter is so beautiful. Look at her snow-white skin. This red dress would suit her perfectly. The sales assistant immediately started showering me with compliments. My mother nodded with a smile. My daughter does have fair skin. Standing next to her makes me look even darker. The dress wasn't cheap, $800. But my mother bought it for me without hesitation. My younger brother clamored to buy new clothes too. My mother gestured toward me with her lips. Your sister is a girl. It's normal for girls to care about their looks. Why are you joining in the fuss? Why don't you ask your sister if she agrees to buy you some? I didn't want my mom to seem too biased, so I quickly agreed. I even took out $500 from my own savings to keep his mouth shut. After the dinner gathering, my younger brother proudly showed off his new shoes to me. How much did they cost? You seemed so happy, I casually asked. His eyes darted around. Mom paid for it. I don't know, even after the discount, it's still $400, so extravagant. My mom glared at him. Those shoes cost $1,800, but I think they're worth it on my son. My son is simple and innocent, and seeing him happy makes me happy too. I turned off my phone, suddenly afraid to look any further. It felt like a nightmare coming to life. As if the beautiful world I had built for myself had collapsed in an instant, I refused to give up and tremblingly opened my phone again. My daughter is very kind to everyone in the world, except for her younger brother. I can tell from the look in her eyes. She absolutely despises him. There's a scar on my son's wrist that she caused, and it's still there after more than 10 years. You can imagine how cruel she is. More than 10 years, that's right, I was only 8 years old at the time. And my brother was 4. My mom had gone to the bedroom to make a phone call with someone. In the blink of an eye, I noticed my brother had run into the kitchen. When I went in, he was standing on a stool. My hand was already on the steaming kettle. Seeing the kettle about to hit him on the head, I rushed forward without thinking. I pushed my younger brother aside, scraping a patch of skin off his wrist. But the back of my neck was scalded badly, the pain so intense that I screamed and fainted. When I woke up, my father had already rushed back from out of town and was sitting by my bed. My mother held my younger brother in her arms, crying as she apologized to me. Her face was covered in tears, and the pain and guilt in her eyes were so profound. Later, a permanent scar remained on the back of my neck. It's so ugly, so in the summer, I rarely tie up my hair, afraid it would upset my mom. I never brought it up again in front of her, the scar on my brother's wrist. You'd probably need a magnifying glass to see even the slightest trace. Back in first grade, I already noticed her scheming nature. She just wanted everyone to revolve around her. Her singing was unbearably awful, yet she insisted I step in to get her into the choir. I had no choice but to play the villain parent, making a scene to force her in. Objectively speaking, the daughter is truly domineering and unlikable. First grade, at that time, there was a school talent show, and our class was organizing a choir. I had a sore throat from a cold, and my voice was terribly hoarse. After the teacher communicated with me, I happily agreed not to participate this time. When the class group notification was sent out, my mom got angry. Penny, tell me, does your homeroom teacher usually have a problem with you? My mom patiently guided me to talk about all the big and small things that happened at school. After her analysis, I was surprised to find out that I had been deliberately ignored. My mom wiped away my tears and immediately fought for justice for me in the group chat. Teacher, why wasn't our Penny selected for the choir? After a barrage of messages, I was squeezed into the choir. After 2 days of rehearsal, I lost my voice due to throat inflammation and ended up in the hospital. The choir also disbanded without achieving anything. My mother's defense of me made me famous at school. I also lost many friends around me. My mom says you have princess syndrome and won't let me play with you. A few mischievous little boys pinched their noses and laughed at me. Teacher, what's wrong with my Penny? My mom didn't seem to care. Penny, don't mind them. Mom is happy to spoil you. With Mom, you can be a princess for life. As I thought about it, my head started to ache. I even had the urge to wake Mom up and confront her. In the end, I still held back. I still wanted to see what her true thoughts about me were in her heart. How could she not love me? How could she possibly hate her own daughter, carried for 10 months and held in her arms? A sleepless night. When I woke up, my mother had already prepared breakfast. I heard her making a phone call in the study. Is that so? The buyer is willing to lower the price. All right, I think that house is pretty good. I didn't quite catch the rest, but it sounded like a real estate agent. During dinner, I opened that post again. It's been updated. Her aunt ran off abroad to fool around and still couldn't bear a son, always looking down on my son. I see right through it. When my daughter came of age, she specifically saved $200,000 for her, but only gave my son 150000. Isn't it just jealousy that I have a son trying to spite me? Come to think of it, my daughter really takes after her aunt, full of schemes. To be honest, boys have it the hardest. If they don't have a car or a house in the future, they'll be looked down upon. What could a girl possibly spend money on? Back in my day, I wasn't as lucky as her to have so much money. The comments section had already piled up with numerous layers of responses. Some questioned if it was just for clout, others angrily criticized, and there were those who, like the original poster, complained about their own daughters. The latest few comments are mocking her. You're not trying to get your hands on your own daughter's money, are you? Be a decent person. Don't girls deserve to have money? This is a bit outrageous. Could it be a guy pretending to be someone else? My younger brother rubbed his eyes as my mom pushed him out of the bedroom. Hurry up and eat. You have the overseas English speaking class I booked for you later. My brother grumbled again about how unfair she was. It was a familiar scene. But the feeling in my heart was different this time. By the way, Penny, you haven't touched the savings your aunt gave you, have you? My mom served me a bowl of plain congee and placed it in front of me. Mention of money set off alarm bells in my mind. I couldn't help but connect it to the phone call I had just overheard and the updated content of the post. I vaguely guessed what she was thinking. Could it really be? What's wrong, Mom? I didn't answer directly, looking at her with confusion. Nothing much, just feeling a bit sorry for my precious daughter. My mom, as usual, sat down beside me, then she took my hand and placed it on her knee. Although a night had passed to cushion the shock, the initial astonishment had faded, but at this moment, being so close to her like this, I couldn't help but feel my nose tingling with emotion. What girl could easily accept that her own mother doesn't love her? Outwardly, I appeared calm, but inwardly, I was filled with bitterness. You've been squeezing into the same room with me for so long. I've thought it over, and I still feel a bit guilty for putting you through that. You can't keep being tied down just because your mom can't let go of you. My brother scoffed. My mom shot him a glare, then turned her gentle gaze back to me. I've been looking at a house recently, a 4-bedroom one. The environment and layout are both good. I plan to give you the larger room. My younger brother was not happy. Why? Big sister is almost graduating from college and will start working soon. She'll get married eventually. You've spent way less time at home than I have. I deserve the bigger room. Bang! My mom slammed the bowl heavily onto the table. The harsh sound successfully startled my younger brother. Even after your sister gets married someday, this home will always have a place for her. She can come back whenever she wants, and stay in whichever room she chooses. Because she's my one and only precious daughter. For a brief moment, I almost believed what she was saying right then. A mother who can say such things must love me, right? I tried every possible way to search for evidence of my mother's love in every little clue. Don't let me hear those morally incorrect words of yours again. This house must be bought no matter what. Your sister has always been so kind to you. You should learn to think for her more. Just like I do, understand? My mother's tone carried an affectionate reproach by the end. Mom, he's still young, don't scold him. What crime has my little brother committed? Perhaps he doesn't understand my mother's true thoughts either. In his heart, he might genuinely believe that my mom favors me. My younger brother reluctantly raised his head, out of the corner of my eye. I seemed to see my mom giving him a meaningful look. Got it. Sorry, sis. My mother nodded in satisfaction and picked up the conversation again. Penny, bring your passbook later. I'm still a bit short on the down payment for the house, so I'll need to borrow some from yours. The smile on my lips faded slightly. Since your sister gets the bigger room, it's only fair you contribute a little, my brother muttered under his breath, not sure if he was sulking or had other thoughts. My mother also looked at me eagerly. Oh, my passbook is still at Auntie's place. A while ago when Aunt came back, I wanted to thank her, so I specifically showed it to her and forgot to bring it back. An innocent smile hung on my face. Oh right, the notification number for transactions on my passbook is actually registered under Aunt's number. It wouldn't be good if she received the withdrawal notification. Aunt always told me not to touch it easily, saying it should be saved for my dowry. My mother's face darkened, and just as she was about to speak, I quickly cut her off. How about using my brother's first? Auntie said back then that he's already a grown boy, so she didn't plan to manage his savings account. It's fine, if my brother contributes the money, then let him have the bigger room. The dining table fell silent for a moment. The atmosphere was eerie. Since childhood, I, the mama's girl, have always obeyed my mother. Whatever she said, I believed. Whatever she told me to do, I did. This time, she must have been confident that I would agree without hesitation. Mom, my brother's voice was laced with urgency. My mother remained silent and walked out. At night, my mother lay in bed with her back turned to me. Before long, the sound of sobbing reached my ears. It was neither too loud nor too soft, carrying just the right amount of restraint. It fully conveyed a sense of suppressed grievance and hurt. I closed my eyes and pretended not to hear. The faint, continuous sound of sobbing lingered for a long time. It wasn't until nearly midnight that everything finally quieted down. I opened my phone and clicked on that post. Now I understand. My daughter has had divided loyalties from the very beginning. No matter how kind you are to her, it's useless. She has no vision at all. All she cares about is money. I just can't believe it, as a mother. I can't even have control over that little bit of her money. When I was a child, My parents always had the final say. How could I be so polite as to discuss things with her now? How dare she refuse so righteously? How dare she? The next day, just as I was about to leave, my brother stopped me. Penny, do you even have a conscience? Didn't you see Mom's eyes were all red and swollen this morning, after all the love Mom has given you? It's really not worth it, I laughed, thinking he was being ridiculous. Bro, have you lost your mind? Are you trying to say that Mom is upset because I couldn't come up with the money? Stop talking nonsense. Our family has never been the type to favor sons over daughters. Mom loves me the most. How could she be angry over this? I turned back as I reached the doorway. By the way, little brother, you're old enough to understand things now. I'm the closest to Mom and know her best. Mom is worried sick. Just give her the money already. Without waiting for his complaints behind me, I walked out the door. An hour later, I knocked on my aunt's door with unease. Aunt had returned not long ago, and we had visited her new house back then. Pan. After sitting down, I handed her the passbook. Aunt raised an eyebrow at me. I took a deep breath, hesitating whether to reveal such a private matter completely. Since childhood, I was closest to my mom and didn't see my aunt very often, but deep down, I once regarded her as the person I admired most. Unlike the atmosphere at my maternal grandmother's house, my paternal grandparents didn't favor boys over girls. In the few childhood memories I have of her, my aunt was always vibrant, radiant, and free-spirited. She loves traveling, singing, dancing, and playing with all sorts of quirky things. Even though she often roams far and wide, her grandparents never criticized her for it. My mother doesn't like her. Penny, you mustn't grow up to be as wild as your aunt. It's not ladylike. It doesn't matter how much my daughter earns. She can just stay by her mother's side and be a little princess. At that time, I couldn't detect any special meaning in those words at all. My aunt didn't like my mother either. Sister-in-law, that foreign friend I introduced you to last time told me only Jack was attending class. What's going on? My mother held me in her arms, shielding me protectively. Penny has been under a lot of academic stress lately. I think we should take it easy for now. A child's health is the most important thing. You've never had children, so you wouldn't understand. A mother naturally worries about her own daughter. Besides, how we raise our child is our family's own business. My mom had barely finished speaking when, before my aunt could open her mouth, my dad shot her a glare. What are you talking about? My aunt scoffed. Brother, if you have the time, you should travel less for work and pay more attention to your child. My mom had always acted as if she doted on me, and my dad trusted her completely, so my father basically took a hands-off approach to my and my brother's education. My mother didn't let my father get involved either. You work so hard every day, just leave the two kids to me. Although the girl is difficult to raise, I'll just spoil her a bit more. From then on, Auntie didn't interfere much with our family matters anymore. She only left some money for me and my younger brother before her last trip abroad. Now, I've handed that money back to her. Auntie, I don't know where the trust came from, but I roughly told her the whole story. I might be bothering you a bit, but I'd like to leave this money with you for now. My aunt took my phone and scrolled through the post. Ridiculous and pitiful. She didn't say much, nor did she ask me anything. This actually made me feel relieved. I really hadn't figured out how to tell others about not being loved. She briskly took the passbook. I'm giving you money partly because I earn enough and want to leave you with some security. On the other hand, your father supported me a lot in the past. Also, this time when I return to China, I'll probably stay for a long time. Before leaving, my aunt said to me, you can come to me if there's anything you need help with. My eyes welled up, and I couldn't hold back the tears, even now. I can't say I've fully accepted the fact that my mother dislikes me. Sometimes I can't help but think, maybe I'm just a girl who's easy to dislike. Otherwise, how could even my own mother not love me? Others' affection for you is just the icing on the cake. Loving yourself is what truly matters. Don't get your priorities wrong, Auntie anxiously reminded me. I nodded heavily. When I got home in the evening, Dad was there too. At the dinner table, Mom's eyes were still red. Dad. Mom seemed to have cried today. My younger brother was the first to speak. My mom sniffled and sighed. Actually, let me explain, Dad. It's like this. I pulled a chair over and sat down beside my dad. Mom feels bad that I don't have a bedroom to sleep in, which affects my life, so she's found a new house she likes. But we're still a bit short on money to buy it, and it's not right to use the money Aunt gave for me and my brother. Dad, is our family really tight on money lately? Maybe my brother and I should pause some of our classes and extracurricular activities for now. After I finished my rapid-fire speech, Mom's face turned as dark as the bottom of a pot. Thinking carefully, I only had an amateur guitar class downstairs in our neighborhood. My brother, on the other hand, had courses in English speaking, Olympiad math, basketball, and horseback riding, not to mention the frequent activities he attended, like skiing and camping. It's too cold for skiing, not good for girls, camping has too many mosquitoes, and my Penny has delicate skin, why should she suffer like that? But her post reads, I never got to experience this kind of joy when I was little, so why should I spend money to take her now just because she says she wants to go? I'm not making excuses, but the more a girl sees and knows, the less of a blessing it may be for her. The daughter already has so much more than I do. The idea of moving houses was actually brought up by my dad a long time ago. At that time, Aunt hadn't given us the money yet. My mom strongly urged my dad to wait a little longer. After all, Penny likes sleeping with me, so there's no rush to change. But the real thought was, my daughter doesn't like studying and still clings to sleeping with me at night. I had no choice but to convert her bedroom into a study, which works perfectly for my younger brother. My grades may not be considered outstanding, but they're certainly much better than my brother's. I had no idea. Apparently, I don't like studying, and it was me who insisted on sleeping with her, if I remember correctly. The family savings plus the money from selling this house should be about enough, right? Cut back on some of Jack's messy extracurricular courses, you didn't get into any good university, and you haven't learned any real skills. Isn't that just a waste of money? Don't worry about it, I'll call to cancel them later. The new house was quickly settled. My brother hasn't spoken to my mom for several days. When we moved to the new house, I cheerfully approached my dad. Dad, Mom said earlier that I could have the bigger room. You don't have any objections, do you? Before my brother was born, my dad was much busier with work than he is now, so he spent very little time with me. It wasn't until my younger brother was born that he had some extra time, so my father felt somewhat guilty about missing out on my growing up process. Still talking like a child, would I, as your father, really compete with you for a room? By the time my mom went to pick up my brother, my belongings had already been moved into the new bedroom by my dad and the workers. Thank you, Mom, for loving me so much. I mustered all my strength to say those words. My younger brother angrily shook off Mom's hand and went inside. That night, for the first time ever, my mom didn't give me a goodnight hug. The post has been updated again. You all still scold me, but didn't you see how she was acting all spoiled and fake with her dad? It's just, like a little vixen. And the way she domineeringly shoved her younger brother into the small bedroom. I've worked much harder than her. Yet I'm far less happy than she is. If she weren't so happy, without her as a comparison, perhaps I'd be happier too. Reading these words again, my heart no longer aches as sharply. No, Mom, you are the one who took away your own happiness. My life shouldn't bear the baseless original sin you imposed on me. Not long after the house buying incident, my mother reverted to her usual affectionate behavior toward me. Penny, you'll be graduating soon. I've asked your uncle to arrange an internship for you. The company is good in every aspect, and it's close to our home. When you're busy and tired, Mom can still take care of you. She cut fruits for me and made ginseng tea. Her face was so calm that nothing seemed amiss. Where does my uncle work? It's indeed very close to home. The reputation is really quite bad. An outsourcing company that exploits workers, with relentless telemarketing. The legendary saying goes, even a dog would have to make a phone call before leaving. Your dad has been busy again lately, but don't worry, Mom will handle this for you. I steadied my mind, trying hard not to let my hands shake. Before, I wasn't sure how much she hated me. Now I realize she didn't care about my future at all. At this moment, the feeling becomes even more real. As a daughter and an elder sister, I suffered much more than she did. Her uncle was sweet-faced but bitter-hearted, bullying me in countless ways. Before marriage, he took almost all of my salary. What if I don't give it to him? We're family. Should we really make a scene? The daughter is fine, but the aunt is the one rushing to give her money. So, does my mom want to push me toward my uncle to experience the same grievances she suffered? The exploitation by my uncle, her inaction. Why did it all take a turn and come back to haunt me? Penny, you're still young and don't know how to save money. It's fine that the previous 200,000 is with your aunt. Once you get your salary card, put it with me. I'll add some more for you later. all as your dowry." My mother lowered her voice, as if afraid my brother might hear. "Don't tell Jack, or he'll say I'm playing favorites again." Watching her lips part and close, a sudden thought crossed my mind. Has my brother really believed all along that Mom favors me the most? I pretended to be happy, but then regretfully told her, "Our school has already made arrangements, and I have to go to the designated place. Otherwise it might affect my graduation." "It's okay, I'll think about going to my uncle's place after the internship period is over." My mom's disappointed eyes lit up again. "Great, great, what's there to think about? Your uncle is family. Would he ever trick you?" "Whether he would or not, as his sister, don't you know?" That night, I created a new account and added my younger brother. My brother loves playing a certain game and has been scolded by our dad countless times because of it. I did my homework thoroughly and chatted with him enthusiastically. After 2 days, I steered the conversation to the topic. "You're an only child, right? I have an older sister, and she's so annoying." I pretended to be a boy who also had an older sister, just like him. My brother quickly replied, "No, I have a sister too. She's pretty, but yeah, kind of annoying." "Me, ha ha ha. Is it because your sister is the favorite?" "Younger brother, not at all. Mom loves me the most." "That stupid donkey of a sister actually thinks Mom favors her. LOL. How does that saying go again?" "My mom gave all her money to me, but her love went to her. Ha ha ha. My mom has already saved up 300,000 for me, and she doesn't even know it yet." I felt all the blood in my body rush straight to my brain, making me dizzy. So it turns out, the one who is loved can clearly feel it. After logging off, I wanted to open that post again, only to find it marked with "Updates discontinued." I wondered if it was because the post had gained too much attention and she was afraid I might come across it, but I had already saved all the screenshots. Soon, by piecing together the clues from the screenshots, I found my mom's new account. She asked, "Which companies near XX neighborhood are shady?" Well, the answer happens to be the one where my uncle works in HR. During my internship, I rarely went home. My mother kept asking about my internship salary, and I always said it would be paid in a lump sum after it ended. I bought a gift for my aunt and asked her to teach me some interview skills and effective ways to find job information. Soon, I got an interview with a very well-known company. On the day I received the job offer, I was truly excited. "Your mother treated you like that? How do you want to get back at her? Stop loving her, be indifferent to her." Auntie looked at me calmly. I shake my head. She never loved me in the first place, so how could she possibly be that hurt if I stop loving her? The greatest revenge is for me to live well, better than her, better than the brother she loves. My aunt smiled, as bright and straightforward as I remembered. "Come with me." In a daze, I followed her to the real estate signing center. "Auntie, this is too generous." She stopped me with a look. "Money can't buy my happiness. Besides, this house isn't very big. I just want you to have your own home no matter what happens in the future. Who knows, when I get old, I might need you to help me with the nursing home paperwork." After completing the formalities, my aunt and I took a quiet walk along the riverbank. "Your mother dislikes you, and part of the reason might be because of me." My aunt mentioned that when my mom first married my dad, their relationship was actually quite decent. Over time, my aunt noticed that my mom's tone toward her became increasingly sarcastic, especially every time my grandparents and dad treated my aunt well. "You're really blessed to have the whole family doting on you, both being women. I truly envy you." My aunt disliked hearing those strange remarks, and being naturally free-spirited, so I spent less and less time at home, and eventually flew abroad for travel. "I really liked you when you were little." Every time she saw me holding you affectionately or you running to me, the look in her eyes, hard to describe. Whenever I wanted to play with you or buy you gifts, she would get upset. "Your mom said she would spoil you like a little princess, so I don't need to interfere." With that, my aunt patted me on the shoulder. "The most powerful love comes from within yourself. Little one, live well, be happy. And most importantly, love yourself." Not long after, Mom's workplace organized a large team-building event where family members were allowed to join. Dad happened to be back on vacation, so he suggested taking me and my younger brother along. Our family hasn't gone out together for fun in a long time. "Your mom has been working so hard taking care of you all this time. Today, if you need anything, just come to me. Let your mom have a break." My mother placed her hand on my shoulder. "It's not hard at all. I just hope my daughter will always be my little sweetheart, that's all." By dinner time, many people had gathered in the banquet hall. chatting and laughing. Lucy, your daughter is truly beautiful. If you look closely, she really resembles you. Yes, she's practically a younger, more fashionable version of you. The smile on my mother's face faltered for a moment. Yes, she just has a bit of a temper. But for a girl, being a little fierce isn't a bad thing. I'll spoil her anyway. You haven't met my son yet. He gets bullied by his sister all day long. Our home is never short of excitement. I picked up my tray and walked over. Mom, what's the fuss about? She paused for a moment. Oh, nothing. Where's your brother? Why didn't you call him to come eat here? I hadn't even spoken yet when a boy across from me greeted me. Hello, you're Penny, right? Standing beside him was presumably his father. Bruce, do you two know each other? The boy nodded, his face lighting up with surprise. Penny joined the company just before my batch. The trainer who mentored us often praised her for being outstanding. Upon hearing the company's name, everyone present began showering me with compliments. Lucy, your daughter is truly remarkable. Yes, to get into such a prestigious company and even get promoted among so many people, the future is limitless. I think she's much more capable than your son. Ha ha ha, tell your son to learn more from his sister. After everyone chimed in, my mother couldn't keep her composure anymore. Come with me. Her tone when speaking to me was unprecedentedly cold. Didn't I tell you to go work at your uncle's place? You actually went behind my back to another company. Behind my back. I've wasted all my affection on you. My mom pulled me aside, her hand gripping my arms so tightly it hurt. Looking at her flushed face and bulging neck from anger, I suddenly found it amusing. My daughter has found such a great job. My daughter is performing excellently at the company. Even people who are complete strangers with no blood relation praise me. Why is she scolding me when I come home late from work? Why does she never ask if I'm tired? Instead, she keeps asking when I'll be done and when I can go work at the company where my uncle is employed. She's getting impatient, after acting for so many years. The crucial moment to destroy me is finally approaching. She's lost her patience. Mom, I tried to speak. How dare you call me Mom? I might as well dote on your brother more. Your brother is so much more obedient and sensible than you. Do you really think you're that outstanding? And now you don't even respect your own mother. Let me tell you, people are just being polite. What kind of tricks did you use to get into that company? You refused to follow the path we carefully arranged for you, insisting on messing around on your own. She kept nagging and criticizing me, as if I were some arrogant, delusional piece of trash with no self-awareness. I couldn't take it anymore and interrupted her. Mom, do you really love me? I feel like your love for me is a bit fake. In an instant, her expression froze. Then came a slap across my face. Smack. It really hurt. It hurts more than when boiling water was once poured on my neck. My tears fell in strings. Each drop spelled resignation. Go report to your uncle's company with me tomorrow. I never expected my success would make her lose her composure like this. So much so that she actually raised her hand against me. My mother, she really does despise me. She didn't even fear that the slap mark on my face might provoke my father's anger. But I will never let you block my path in the name of love again. I took out another phone from my bag and initiated an airdrop. The file I sent was a screenshot of the post I had saved. In less than a minute, the banquet hall erupted in uproar. That's absolutely insane. Who posted this? Hating your own daughter, jealous that she's smart and beautiful. Because you suffered from son preference, you take it out on your own girl. That's beyond ridiculous. What did her daughter ever do to anyone? Some people even shared it in various group chats. My mom scrolled through the images, her lips trembling. Soon, sharp-eyed individuals uncovered some clues. This description seems like Lucy's family. This mentality is just too dark and twisted. No wonder she always talks about how much she dotes on her daughter, yet only takes her son out with her. My mom grabbed her bag, her face pale, and turned to leave immediately. Lucy. My father stood before her with a grim expression. Did you post this? No, no. My mother instinctively shook her head, but her expression had already betrayed her. No, give me your phone. My mother gripped the phone tightly and fell silent, standing to the side. My eyes welled up with tears. My father looked at me, veins bulging on his temples in anger. He raised his hand, just as it was about to hit my mother's face. He pulled it back. A crowd of onlookers had gathered behind my mother. Curious gazes fell upon us. My brother muttered, "So embarrassing, let's go home," Dad said. As soon as we got home, my father threw 2 words at my mother: divorce. My mom's eyes quickly welled up with tears. Just because of Penny, you want to divorce me?" My dad's eyes widened in shock. "Just because of Penny. Penny is your own flesh and blood." I sat to the side, my slapped cheek still burning slightly. "You told me to trust you with the child, not to interfere. And this is how you torment her. Why on earth do you hate her so much?" Faced with my father's question, my mother remained silent. Perhaps she couldn't articulate any reason, or perhaps she too found those reasons too absurd to voice. "I can't go on living with you anymore. I never imagined that the person lying beside me would turn out to be this kind of mother." Soon, both sets of grandparents caught wind of the situation. Grandma pulled me into her arms and burst into tears. Grandpa, Grandma, and Uncle's faces were a mix of anger and embarrassment. The post my mom wrote documented many of the outrageous things they had done, especially my uncle. Things like getting someone pregnant and then abandoning them were all written about. "Right now my aunt is having a fight with him. I'll write whatever I want. If you did such a thing, why are you afraid of people talking?" At this moment, my mother was seething with anger inside. Smack. My uncle stepped forward and slapped her across the face. Just as he was about to strike again, my father and I quickly stepped forward to stop him. "This is a society governed by law. If you keep hitting people recklessly, we'll call the police." My uncle retreated awkwardly to the side. My mother's hair was disheveled from the beating, and her lips were swollen and red, watching her younger brother hiding behind. Too afraid to come forward, a look of confusion appeared in her eyes. "Divorce is fine, in the end," my mom compromised. "Jack stays with me, Penny goes with you." My father sneered coldly. Exactly what I wanted, but my younger brother suddenly spoke up. "I want to stay with Dad." As soon as these words were spoken, my mother was as if struck by lightning. "Jack, you know, in this family, Mom loves you the most." She glanced at me and continued speaking. "Mom loves you the most. Come live with me, okay?" My younger brother glanced up at her and shook his head. At that moment, my mom's tears gushed out uncontrollably. "I've given you my whole heart, and yet you..." I can somewhat guess my younger brother's thoughts. Dad earns a higher salary, and the financial conditions of my grandparents and aunt are also better. Now that he's older, there are more places where he needs to spend money, but my mother's heart is broken. My mother hadn't given up yet. She gently pulled my younger brother to her side and whispered something in his ear. "All right. I'll go with Mom." Although somewhat reluctant, my younger brother eventually agreed. The procedures were completed quickly. The new house was also sold. My father gave my mother a larger share of the money and even introduced her to a smaller house elsewhere. "Penny." Before parting, my mother called out to me. Her gaze was complex. I couldn't tell whether it held remorse or mockery. "I don't know if your father still has enough savings to buy a house now, so you're welcome to come stay at my place whenever you want in the future. After all, you've just started working and don't have much money yet." I smiled politely. "No need, Dad's money is enough. Besides, Auntie has already bought me an apartment. It's not big, just a little more spacious than yours. I live alone quite comfortably." My mother put away her smile. "What?" After officially receiving my diploma, I was immediately promoted to a full-time position. I shared my joys one by one on my Moments and Weibo. My mom would see them. I knew she had changed jobs by then, working at the company where my uncle was employed. Her previous job had been arranged through my father's connections, good benefits and easy work, but just a temporary position. Not long after the screenshot incident, her contract expired. The company did not renew her contract. Her uncle's company, due to its poor reputation, struggled to hire people. Just when my mother reluctantly turned to him for help, so my uncle let bygones be bygones and arranged a logistics job for her. Her previous job had regular hours from 9 to 5, weekends and holidays off, with comprehensive benefits. The current company has working hours from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., with a salary cut in half and only 4 days off per month. The contrast is brutal, but there's no other choice. I heard my younger brother is in a relationship, and his living expenses have skyrocketed. To keep him firmly by her side, my mother practically grants his every wish. Back then, it was probably this promise and the $300,000 saved for him that won him over. After all, he is his biological father. Even if his younger brother doesn't stay with him, he wouldn't really abandon him completely in the future. "Penny, Mom has something to talk to you about. Are you free to meet up?" I turned them down. "Mom, you can text me if you have something to say. I've been busy with work lately." There's no grudge that lasts overnight between mother and daughter. Mom wants to apologize to you. Actually, I do care about you, but sometimes you really don't listen, and it makes me a little angry. A lot of what I posted in that thread was just angry words. I stared at her messages one by one, expressionless. My alternate account still occasionally chats with my younger brother. So I know he's gotten into online loans and is really short on money lately. Mom, will your apology be sincere? Mom is really struggling now, and your brother needs money for his upcoming marriage. I let out a silent, bitter laugh. Whenever she brings up money, I stop responding. Gradually, she stopped reaching out to me as much. Not long after, the debt collection messages were sent to both my and my father's phones. They were messages about my younger brother's debts. My father was furious. Even though my brother was already an adult, my father still gave him a full monthly allowance. I never expected he'd owe so much. Even his school teacher came to our house. They said my younger brother had been borrowing money from others at school and refusing to repay, and when pressed, he even resorted to threats and violence. My father tried his best, but still couldn't prevent my brother from being expelled. Lucy. So this is the precious son you've been coddling, even now. Do you still think Penny isn't as good as him? My mother stared deeply at me, her eyes brimming with tears. My brother, who had been hit a few times by our father, also erupted in anger. He turned his spearhead toward my mother. It's all your fault. Why didn't you give me that $300,000? If I had that $300,000, how could I have turned to online loans? How could I have borrowed money? How could I have been fired? His shameless behavior completely exposed how my mother had spoiled and indulged him. My mother has become much more haggard, and her clothes are no longer as stylish as before. I've given you quite a bit of money already. That $300,000 was meant to be saved for buying you a house. My brother wasn't grateful at all. Bullshit. You just want to use this $300,000 to tie me down. They weren't wrong. You're just mentally twisted. My father roared at him. What the hell are you saying? My younger brother continued to scream without restraint. What kind of good mother could hate her own daughter? I don't think she really loves me. She's just a freak, a freak. My mother clutched her head, her eyes vacant, her body swaying slightly. She ultimately lost her balance and fell to the ground. My mother was taken to the hospital. At the new company, my uncle worked her to the bone, years of exhaustion and lack of sleep. There were also some acquaintances who came across the post pointing fingers at her. On top of that, my brother kept asking for money more urgently each time. She collapsed. Doctor, when will she be able to recover? How could she suddenly develop dementia? The doctor didn't give a specific timeline. These kinds of mental illnesses are unpredictable. She might recover. Or maybe, this is just how it will be. My father contacted my grandparents, but they all hemmed and hawed. Unwilling to take on the burden of my mother, in the end, it was my father who made the decision to hire a caregiver for her. Fortunately, there was still some savings left for her to use. My father told me not to worry about it and to focus on my work. It was your mother and I who brought you into this world. We just wanted you to experience this world, without even asking for your consent. So as our child, you owe us nothing. You weren't born with debt or sin. I hugged my dad. It's fine. Having one family member say such words to me was enough. My younger brother was forced by my dad to work in the factory. Temper your attitude properly and experience how hard it is to earn money. I'll make you earn back every penny I paid for you. And if I find out you've borrowed money again, or asked your sister for money, I'll cut ties with you. The younger brother, who had always lived carefree without a worry in the world, was intimidated, having been spoiled for too long. He would indeed be afraid if there was truly no one left to rely on. Life has regained some semblance of peace. Next month, I'll be sent on a business trip to a very distant city. I might not return for a year or two. My aunt also got excited and said she would go with me, taking the opportunity to travel in that city. Before leaving, my aunt and I went to the hospital. The setting sun cast its light on her face, adding a touch of genuine softness and warmth to her expression. My aunt and I sat by the bed. She tilted her head slightly. What a beautiful girl. Do you know me? My aunt and I nodded. She thought for a moment, then shook her head. No, that's a lie. I don't even know you. My mother ignored us and continued flipping through the photo album. On the next page, there was a photo of my aunt holding me when I was just 3 years old. She paused, took out her glasses, and put them on. After watching for a long time, she curved her eyes. This is my daughter. Everyone says she looks like me. Isn't she pretty? When kindergarten lets out later, I'll go pick her up, and you can meet her then. Auntie held my hand. I looked at my mother intently. The tenderness in her eyes seemed genuine. It seemed she had, briefly, loved me too. I stood up and left the hospital with my aunt. It doesn't matter anymore. Now, I love myself very much. I am doing well. I also believe that all the beautiful things in the world are worth happening to me, Auntie. I feel like eating seafood. Let's go. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. From as far back as I can remember, Mom always spoiled me but was strict with my younger sister. She would buy me the prettiest dresses while enrolling my sister in the most expensive tutoring classes. She told me I was destined to be a star. So I didn't need to learn those useless things, but behind my back, she would say to my sister, "You need to study hard to have a future. Your sister is just a pretty face, a fool who will spend her life in my grasp, making money for me." When I was little, the media called me a child prodigy. Not that stupid, right? My entire childhood was almost entirely spent filming dramas and shooting commercials. Later, acting offers gradually became fewer. I returned to school in high school. As soon as I entered the classroom, many people recognized me. "Isn't that Jiang Ning? She's acted in many dramas. You're even more beautiful than on TV." After briefly greeting my new classmates, I walked over and sat down next to Jiang Zhen, whispering to her, "My foundation is weak, so please help me out more." Someone nearby chimed in, "You two know each other." I smiled with curved eyes. "Zhenjin and I are twin sisters. But you two don't look alike at all. You're so pretty." While Jiang Zhen's expression darkened, I quickly cut off the person's words. "Jiang Zhen has excellent grades. Ever since I was little, when relatives would compliment me on being pretty, Mom would casually mention how many levels Jiang Zhen had achieved in piano and English exams, or what rank she got in the monthly tests. Jiang Zhen was hardworking and outstanding. In the eyes of my relatives, I was just a pretty but useless waste. No one liked me. Some relatives even stood up for Jiang Zhen. At the banquet, they tugged at my mother's sleeve and said, "You should stop being partial and treat Zhenjin better too. In my opinion, she's the only one you can rely on when you're old." At this point, Mom would laugh and smooth things over. I can count on both my daughters. Jiang Zhen has always held her head low in front of me. However, after I ranked last in the minor exam, the triumph in her eyes was barely concealed. When she got home from school, she handed the report card to Mom. "Mom, I made it into the top 5 in class this time. Another improvement." Mother took the report card with a pleased smile. "Good, but you need to keep working hard and aim for first place." Jiang Zhen glanced at me. "Didn't sister get first place this time?" Mother looked up at me in surprise. Jiang Zhen smiled. "Just the bottom of the list." Mom's expression relaxed. "It's okay if your grades aren't good. After all, your sister won't be taking the academic path in the future." Jiang Zhen's smile froze, tears welling up in her eyes. "If I had gotten the lowest score, you would have chased me around the house to hit me. Why are you so biased toward her?" Mom quickly scolded. "Shut up. How can you compare yourself to your sister?" Jiang Zhen couldn't hold back the tears in her eyes, and they rolled down. She grabbed her backpack, rushed into the room, and slammed the door shut with a bang. Mom sighed and said, "Leave her be. Go wash your hands and eat." At the dinner table, Mom kept putting food into my bowl. "Ning, you're going to be a star in the future, so it's okay if your grades aren't great. If you're not happy at school, Mom can take you out for a while, and you can go travel somewhere." Mom treats me and Jiang Zhen very differently. Somehow, it makes me feel vaguely uneasy deep down. At night, I went out to get some water and saw Mom carrying soup into Jiang Zhen's room. The door was slightly ajar, and their voices drifted out from inside. "Mom, you're so biased. Why are you so nice to Jiang Ning? You never scold her. She's just a bit prettier and earns a little more money, isn't she? She's just made up with makeup. If you had sent me to act in movies when I was a child. Do you think it's a good thing for a girl to be out in the public eye from a young age?" Mom interrupted her, poking her forehead with her index finger. "Do you even have a conscience? All the money she earned from acting was spent on your tutoring." Jiang Zhen sobbed. "Then why did you buy her such expensive dresses?" "I never got any. What's the point of those things? They only turn girls into pretty vases." Mom sneered. "A single dress costs thousands, but over the years, I've spent millions on your tutoring." Jiang Zhen fell silent. Mother gently wiped the tear stains from her face with a tissue. "Zhenjin, remember, you're the only one Mom has truly nurtured with all her heart. You must study hard to have a bright future." A fool like your sister, who only has a pretty face, will spend her whole life under my control, making money for me. Jiangjun heard Mom call me an idiot and finally smiled, picking up the soup from the bedside table to drink. Mom, don't worry, I'll study hard and make sure to trample Jiangning under my feet in the future. Mom nodded and gently stroked her hair with a smile. At that moment, I stood frozen outside the door, a dense, stinging pain creeping into my chest. Everyone thought Mom favored me more. When I was little, she would buy me beautiful clothes and expensive toys. Jiangzhen had to work hard in her studies to earn such rewards. I could always get them effortlessly, but I always knew she favored Jiangzhen more. During filming, only my agent accompanied me on set. Meanwhile, Mom was busy shuttling Jiangzhen from one tutoring class to another. Unlike how she treated Jiangzhen, she never scolded or disciplined me, even seemed to dote on me. Turns out, she wanted to spoil me rotten, to turn me into an empty-headed fool, so I'd have no choice but to stay by her side forever, as her cash cow. She clearly remembered every achievement Jiangzhen had accomplished. But she forgot that I was once called a child prodigy by the media too. I was never a fool. The next day, during the history pop quiz, the test paper was handed out, and I scored 50 points, a failing grade. Jiangzhen looked at my paper and frowned. How did you suddenly score so high? Did you copy from me during the test? Her voice was loud enough that the surrounding classmates all turned to look. No way, Jiang Ning cheated. She used to only score 20 points in every subject. And today's exam was quite difficult. She actually got 50. She must have cheated. Jiang Ning is just a bit prettier, but Jiang Zhen is much more outstanding than her. The teacher handing out the papers heard the murmurs and looked at me. Who cheated? I didn't speak. He walked up to me, picked up my test paper, and examined it carefully. There is something off about your paper. The answers are either left blank or written exactly as they appear in the textbook. Did you copy from the book? I didn't. I pressed my lips together and explained. I memorized a few chapters from the textbook last night. Then recite it now. Let me hear. I closed my eyes and began reciting from the first chapter, word for word. The classroom instantly fell silent. After a long while, the teacher interrupted me and asked, "Did you memorize the first 5 chapters of the book in one night?" I nodded. I have a good memory. I used to be able to memorize an entire script in one night. The teacher stepped forward and patted my shoulder. Learning isn't just about memory, you also need to master study methods. Keep working hard and aim to pass the next exam. The teacher turned around, and the surrounding classmates began whispering among themselves. Jiang Ning seems pretty impressive too. Anyone can memorize books by rote. Try reciting 5 chapters of a history textbook word for word in one night. Jiang Zhen narrowed her eyes at me, her gaze probing. Why the sudden interest in studying? I curved my lips slightly, just giving it a casual try. Studying doesn't seem that hard after all. Jiang Zhen snorted coldly. Reading isn't just about memorization. When she got home, Jiang Zhen told her mother about the history quiz. Why the sudden interest in studying? Couldn't sleep last night, so I randomly memorized a few chapters. Mom seemed to let out a sigh of relief and gently persuaded. Acting is already so exhausting. Why waste time learning those things? But even for film school, there are academic score requirements. The smile at the corner of Mom's lips stiffened slightly. I tugged at the corner of my lips. Forget it, my foundation is so weak. I probably won't get into film school anyway. Mom quickly comforted me. Ningning has acting experience. Even if you don't get into film school, you can still land plenty of roles. I gradually understood. In my mother's eyes, I was just an obedient fool. A slight thought of not being under her control would be nipped in the bud by her. If I wanted to study hard, she probably wouldn't allow it either. At night, I lay in bed scrolling through forums. I suddenly came across a post. The title of the post was, "How can a poor student avoid being noticed while studying hard?" It offered many solutions, using a novel app to import course materials for studying, or using a music app to listen to English vocabulary, find a top student to help with tutoring, and if caught, just say we're dating. I started to admire the creativity of netizens. I opened my WeChat friends list, scrolled to the only top student friend I knew, Zhou Yan. He is 1 year older than me, and both his parents are university professors. He is very smart and was admitted to Tsinghua University through early admission during his 2nd year of high school. We got to know each other because we acted together in several TV shows when we were kids. I asked him to tutor me, and he agreed. To be precise, He agreed after I posted a photo of him wetting his pants as a child on set because he was scared of a horse. On the weekend, I invited him to a cafe. I arrived early and ordered coffee and desserts. When Zhou Yan walked in, he looked impatient. He wore work pants and a white t-shirt, with black headphones hanging around his neck, making his skin appear cool and pale. The boy had grown quite a bit. His brows were mature, his gaze indifferent. He didn't seem like the easiest person to get along with. He walked over and sat down across from me, raising an eyebrow as he looked at me. Jiang Ning, are you okay? Now you want to study. I lowered my eyes. Because I don't want to be controlled for the rest of my life. If I want to break free, my mind can't stay empty. He stared at me for a moment but didn't ask further. He suppressed the teasing smile at the corner of his lips, started tutoring me on the basics. My foundation was truly weak. While helping me with my studies, Zhou Yan adjusted his breathing. The math knowledge points had to be reviewed all the way from high school down to elementary school. After finishing the tutoring session, I asked him, "Is there any way to prevent others from noticing my grades are improving?" He scoffed coldly. "Your room for improvement is so vast that it's hard not to notice, but at my current level, I can't even manage to suppress or control my scores." Zhou Yan thought for a moment. "How about you try scoring 0 on a test?" Score 0. When I was a kid, I was very rebellious. My parents realized forcing me to study was useless, so they told me to try scoring 0. They said if I could get a 0, they wouldn't bother me anymore. What's so hard about scoring 0? You can't leave any question blank, and you have to score 0 in every subject. Zhou Yan lifted his eyelids to look at me. No matter how randomly I answer, I can't score 0. Later, I realized that only by knowing the correct answer to every question could I precisely score 0. After I scored 0, my parents stopped bothering me and even congratulated me on mastering the ability to study independently. Old fox. Listening to Zhou Yan complain about his parents, I suddenly felt envious of him. I took Zhou Yan's advice and started striving for 0 marks on exams. The lower the score, the greater the progress. At first, Jiang Zhen and her mother were somewhat wary of me starting to study, but when they saw that no matter how hard I tried, my grades remained at the bottom of the class, they gradually let their guard down. Later, I didn't have to deliberately hide my studying from them anymore. In their eyes, I had become a fool. No matter how many books I read, the knowledge just won't stick in my brain. I listened attentively in class and answered every exam question carefully, yet my test scores kept getting lower and lower. In their eyes, I was no longer any kind of threat. Jiang Zhen even started persuading me, "Sister, you should give up. Studying also requires talent." A faint, disdainful smile curled at the corners of Jiang Zhen's lips. An unmistakable sense of superiority was evident in her expression. I sighed and said, "Yes, studying is really so hard." I rubbed my temples. Who would understand? Trying to score 0 is really hard. At night, I was reading in my bedroom. Mom walked in holding a bowl of white fungus soup. "Ningning, why do you spend so much time studying? The harder something is, the more I want to try it," I said, looking up at her. "What do you need, Mom?" "Mom thinks you're still more suited for acting. There's a movie offering you the female lead supporting role, and the pay is quite good. It's already senior year of high school, and the academic workload is heavy." I really didn't want to take the role, but I knew I couldn't refuse outright. I said indifferently, "Send me the script when you have time." Mom smiled and said, "I'll have them send you the script later." Before long, I received the movie script in my email. Seeing the director's name gave me a bad feeling. Shen Quan has a terrible reputation in the entertainment industry. He often deceives actresses into filming explicit scenes. He verbally promises to edit them out later but still includes those scenes in the final cut. The actress who was deceived accused him after the film's release, only to be criticized for being hypocritical. The script sent to me by Shen Quan's team had many scenes written very ambiguously, making it impossible to detect any issues at first glance. However, the email clearly stated my salary at the very end. It was several times higher than my previous earnings. Has Mom never suspected that there might be a problem? I closed the email, moved the mouse, and clicked on the message Zhou Yan had sent me. The email contained study notes compiled by his top-scoring roommate. Final exams were just around the corner. Those who rank in the top 5 of the entire school are almost guaranteed candidates for Tsinghua or Peking University. The holiday break would offer the opportunity for a study trip to Beijing. Mom values this opportunity greatly and has always hoped Jiang Zhen could make it into the top 5. All of Jiang Zhen's free time had to be spent on extra tutoring. She had to take various brain-boosting and energy-enhancing supplements every day. She often studied until 2 or 3 in the morning before going to bed. Since Jiang Zhen entered high school, her mother's controlling behavior had grown increasingly intense. If she slacked off even slightly, her mother would scold her. Jiang Zhen couldn't catch a break at home, so she often fell asleep during school classes. Whenever her grades slipped even slightly, her mother would assume she wasn't trying hard enough and become even stricter with her. As an actor, detecting subtle emotions is the most fundamental skill. Mom didn't notice. Jiang Zhen's eyes were already filled with resentment. After one class, the teacher left an entire blackboard full of key knowledge points. After the teacher left, many students took out their phones and directly photographed the content on the blackboard. I also took out my phone to capture the key points. Jiang Ning, is this the latest model of your phone? This phone seems quite expensive, costing over 10,000. Can I take a look? I took the photo and handed them my phone. Materially, Mom has never shortchanged me. I used to think she did it because she saw how hard I worked in acting and wanted to compensate me. Now it seems she wanted to raise me into a useless person with only material desires and no independent thought. At that moment, someone suddenly remarked, "Are you really sisters?" Jiang Ning has the latest model phone, while Jiang Zhen is still using a senior citizen's phone. Jiang Zhen, sitting beside me, froze mid-motion as she was taking notes. Her fingertip paused, the pen tip leaving a blot of ink. She muttered, "What's so great about a phone? It only distracts from studying." I remember Jiang Zhen found using a flip phone embarrassing and had always wanted a smartphone. She repeatedly promised her mother it wouldn't affect her studies, but no matter how she pleaded, her mother just wouldn't agree. Not long after, the results of the last quiz before finals were posted. I stared at the scores on the bulletin board. My fingertips trembled slightly with excitement. My grades are the lowest in the entire school, 0 points. I finally did it. After striving for over 2 years, I finally did it. But the only person I can share this joy with is Zhou Yan. I took a photo of the transcript on the bulletin board with my phone and sent it to him. Zhou Yan replied instantly, "Congratulations." I smiled and replied, "I finally did it." He asked again, "What level are you at now?" "I've done 2 sets of past exam papers and can reach the key university cutoff score." Zhou Yan sent a head-patting emoji. "Keep working hard, aim to become my junior at school." I replied with a hee-hee emoji. "Zhou Yan, I still want to be your older sister." When we were kids, I was taller than Zhou Yan, and he followed me around calling me older sister for a long time. But later, when he found out I was younger than him, he stopped calling me that. He sent 2 exclamation marks in a row. "Jiang Ning, I'm a year older than you, and taller, by a lot." Suddenly, the homeroom teacher's voice sounded from behind. "Jiang Ning, come to my office." On the homeroom teacher's desk lay the test paper from my recent quiz, spread open. "Jiang Ning, explain why you scored 0 this time." I pressed my lips together. "Bad luck, you answered every question. Even random guessing should get you a few multiple choice questions right, and for Chinese. As long as you can write, you should at least score a couple of points, shouldn't you? It's not impossible to get everything wrong." "Then explain this. Why did you choose C for all the questions where A was correct, and D for all the ones where B was correct, and for the essay questions? Your reasoning was on point, but both the process and the answers were wrong. My grades have always been at the bottom of the class. I thought no one would pay attention to my test paper. Teacher, I'm sorry. I just didn't want others to find out I was studying hard." I lowered my head, my voice growing quieter. "So I always found it strange. You were very attentive in class every day, but your grades kept getting worse." The homeroom teacher shook her head. "Kids these days really have unique ways of working hard. I'll do well on this final exam. I hope you can keep it a secret from me this time." Teacher, intentionally scoring 0. No one would believe it if word got out. The homeroom teacher said helplessly, "But you, scoring 0, won't your parents scold you?" I curled the corner of my lips. Not only would they not scold me, they seemed quite pleased. As I reached the office door, the homeroom teacher suddenly called out to me, "I checked your multiple choice answers. Jiang Ning, your accuracy is quite high. If you perform well in the final exams, you should have no problem ranking among the top in the school." The warm winter sun slanted into the corridor, bringing a comforting warmth to my body. The corners of my lips lifted slightly, but as I turned the corner of the staircase, I ran into Jiang Zhen. It's obvious that she's in a bad mood. Her grades dropped significantly in this minor exam. She looked at me with a mocking expression. So happy about scoring 0, Jiang Ning, you're truly something special. I chuckled lightly. Really, I think so too. I didn't want to engage with her and continued walking downstairs. Perhaps because she failed to provoke me, my indifferent attitude angered her. She shouted behind me, "Do you know how embarrassing it is to have such a stupid sister like you? Spending too much time with you makes me feel like I'm getting dumber too." I stopped in my tracks and turned to look at her. "Bark one more word, and I'll tell Mom about your failed exam." Jiang Zhen's expression clearly panicked. "You wouldn't dare. You got 0 this time too. So what if I got 0 on the test?" "Grades don't matter to me," I sneered. "Let me tell you something. The movie I starred in 7 years ago will be released during this year's Spring Festival. So what if you dropped out to make some money? What's there to brag about? I just want you to know." I slowed my speech, enunciating each word clearly. "We were never even on the same track. You..." Jiang Zhen was so angry she started spouting nonsense. "Don't you realize you're just a money-making tool? Mom spent all her resources on raising me." I raised an eyebrow with a disdainful look. "Did she say that to you?" Jiang Zhen bit her lip. "You believe her just because she said so?" I laughed. "It's simply because the gap between us is too big, and she didn't want you to feel unbalanced." "No, that's not it." The smile on my face, the moment I turned around, vanished completely. "Recently, I reconnected with Lena, the agent who used to represent me. I thought she would never speak to me again. I remember how Mom had a big falling out with the agency over profit-sharing issues before terminating her contract. The film Tibetan Blue, which was shelved for 7 years before finally being released, was one Lena helped me land. It's also my favorite role to date. In the movie, I played a Tibetan girl galloping across the grasslands on horseback. She is free and brave, exactly the kind of person I aspire to be. Lena often says that if it weren't for my mother's short-sightedness back then, only accepting roles based on pay, with my natural talent for acting, I could have gone much further. After terminating the contract with the agency, fewer and fewer roles came my way. My child star halo has gradually faded. What I didn't expect was, after the trailer for Dark Blue was released, I received unprecedented attention. During the break between classes, the classmate behind me lightly tapped my shoulder. "Jiang Ning, you're trending." She handed her phone to me. #Navy Blue Little Girl. Jiang Ning hashtag after Jiang Ning grew up hashtag. Clicking on the trending topic, aside from movie stills, they also posted a recent photo of me. In the photo, I was wearing a blue and white school uniform with my hair in a ponytail. She tucked the stray strands of hair behind her ear and lowered her head to focus on reading. The comments section was filled with praise. The Tibetan girl in the trailer was actually Jiang Ning. Her acting is as impressive as ever. It's been a while since we last saw Jiang Ning. She's grown into such a beautiful young woman. The daughter is growing up proportionally. Several girls gathered around. "Jiang Ning, your acting was amazing. I cried just watching the trailer." "Is the sunburned flush on your face real or makeup? We're planning to go to the cinema as a group to support you." My cheeks flushed slightly as I whispered my thanks. I took out my phone and opened Weibo. I noticed that after the movie trailer was released, my Weibo followers had increased by 20,000. Jiang Zhen, sitting next to me, lifted her head from the pile of books. She glanced at my phone screen. A faint snort escaped her nose. Not long after, an anonymous post about me scoring 0 on an exam had been reposted from the campus forum to the trending topics on Weibo. The whole internet is mocking me for being brainless. OMG, I can't even imagine how empty Jiang Ning's brain must be. Her brain feels emptier than my wallet. Can't the entertainment industry have some cultural standards? Someone like Jiang Ning really shouldn't be in it. I used to think she was a top student when I saw those photos of her reading. But now the illusion is completely shattered. The movie's popularity combined with the exposure of the scandal, I instantly became infamous. Though I don't know who posted that thread on the campus forum, but it undoubtedly helped me gain a lot of attention. Shen Quan's team is also skilled at hype. They quickly released a casting image for the new movie. The image was blurred, but my facial outline could still be vaguely recognized. The copy reads, Director Shen's new film has confirmed that the female lead role will be played by a child star making a comeback. Everyone is looking forward to her first on-screen appearance as an adult. They might as well have just revealed my ID number. Shen Quan's films are notoriously explicit. For a moment, my reputation hit rock bottom. The internet was full of ridicule, mocking me for being foolish, rushing to make quick money, and squandering a winning hand. Staring at the flood of negative comments in the message section, I turned off my phone screen. Pushing the door open to return home, I found my mother had already brewed black tea and was waiting for me in the living room. Although Dad passed away very early, but she never suffered hardship in her life. Her affluent family background made her appear like a noble woman. She patted the sofa beside her, signaling for me to come over. Ning Ning. I have good news for you. Director Shen has doubled your acting fee again. Double, that's really quite a lot. Indeed, with my current popularity, even the promotional costs are saved. So, Mom accepted it for you. Her eyes and brows were beaming with joy, as if some pie had fallen from the sky. I've always felt that my mother was a stranger to me. Now she seems even more distant. After a moment of silence, I slowly spoke. Do you know what kind of movies Shen Quan makes? Director Shen assured me that he would never make you film those kinds of scenes. Assured, I laughed. The last actress he assured is now suffering from depression. Ning Ning, the salary he's offering you is at the level of a top-tier actress. If you take this movie, you won't have to work for years afterward. It's been years since I last worked, and I'm completely ruined. Seeing me stunned and silent, she thought she had convinced me. It's fine to show a little skin. It's not like you'll lose a piece of flesh. Only someone as beautiful as Ning Ning could earn that much money. My fingers suddenly tightened, nails digging into my palms, yet I felt no pain, only the agony spreading from the depths of my heart, seeping blood outward. Due to acting in films since childhood, my mind matured unusually early. When shuttling between various film sets as a child, I would often overhear adults making ill-intentioned jokes. Your parents have sold you off. They won't come to take you home anymore. The other child actors my age burst into terrified wails, but I never cried. I refused to believe I'd been sold, because I know, once I believe it, it becomes true. My eyelashes trembled, and cold tears spilled from my eyes. Mom, I choked out. Have you ever thought that I'm not even 18 yet? Mom froze for a moment. What do you mean? I'm still a minor. There's no need to rush like this. I wiped the tears from the corner of my eye with the back of my hand and said coldly, no matter what you say, it's useless. I won't take on a role from such a scumbag. Do you know how much the penalty for breach of contract is? That's your problem. I ignored her and turned to go back to my room. In the following days, she didn't give up and kept persuading me to take on this drama. With final exams approaching, her interruptions made it impossible for me to study. I had no choice but to tell her to wait until after the vacation. She thought I had agreed. She no longer knocked on my door at night to talk heart to heart. The surrounding noise quieted down, and I could finally focus on studying. On the day the final exam results came out, everyone was shocked. I didn't intentionally get the questions wrong. I performed very well on the exam, 4th in the entire school, 1st in the class. Everyone was shocked except for the homeroom teacher. After school, I was taken to the office by the homeroom teacher. Each subject teacher gave me a problem to solve. Only after I answered them all correctly did they believe me. The homeroom teacher shrugged helplessly. I told you kids these days are strange, treating 0 marks as a learning goal. I straightened my posture and bowed to the teachers. I'm sorry for being so willful before. Thank you, teachers, for your careful guidance. I will take my studies seriously from now on. The homeroom teacher stepped forward and patted me on the shoulder. During the holiday, go to Beijing and have a good look around. Think about whether you want to aim for Tsinghua or Peking University. After leaving the office, school was already over. Most of the classmates in the classroom had already left. Only the students on duty for cleaning remained. I was undoubtedly the center of everyone's attention today. They walked up to me and tentatively asked, Jiang Ning, did the homeroom teacher want anything serious about this exam? I packed my things, straightened my back, and said to them, I didn't cheat on this exam. I was deliberately scoring 0 before. Their expressions were shocked. You were deliberately scoring 0, really? It must be true. Even if she cheated, she wouldn't dare to have such a huge score gap, right? I curved my lips slightly. It's true, I worked hard for 2 years. And effort is the answer. Just as I stepped out of the school gate, Jiang Zhen blocked my way. If there's anyone who least believes in my exam results, it should be her. Jiang Ning, you're really something. Stealing my exam scores, switching your grades. I found it ridiculous. Are you saying I didn't rank 4th in the school, but rather over 100? Jiangzhen performed poorly again this time, falling out of the top 100 in the school. Would it make sense if I ranked last? You're so close to the homeroom teacher. Who knows what tricks you two pulled? Her chest heaved with emotion as she spoke passionately. Mom makes me take so many extra classes every day. I study so hard, yet in the end, you stole my achievements. A thief like you doesn't deserve to be a public figure. Just wait. I will tear off your hypocritical mask. She threw down harsh words and turned to leave. When I got home, there wasn't a single person in the house. I went straight to my room. The setting sun filtered through the gaps in the leaves and shone onto my desk through the window. A bit too glaring, I sat at the desk, watching the light grow faint and soft until dusk gradually deepened. The door was banged heavily. I turned my head to look. The door wasn't locked, and with a click, the handle was turned open. Behind the door was my mother's furious face. Jiang Zhen behind me wore a look of schadenfreude. Mouthing the words at me, "You're dead." Mom took a deep breath, suppressing her anger, and questioned me. "Jiang Ning, what has our family ever done to wrong you? How could you do such a thing? What did I do? Do you have any idea how much effort I've put into Xinjian's studies?" Mom's fingers trembled slightly as she pointed at me. "You actually had someone change her exam results. What kind of person are you?" I let out a soft laugh. "She hasn't even ranked in the top 50 of the entire school this semester. What makes you think I changed her grades?" Jiang Zhen's face changed. "You're lying. I didn't do that poorly on the test." Suddenly, a slap landed on my face. By the time I realized what had happened, my face had already turned to the side, my ears were ringing, and my cheek burned with pain. "You did something wrong yourself and now you're trying to drag your sister down with you. I must have failed as a parent to raise a daughter like you. Changing grades is such an outrageous thing. Yet Mom firmly believes it. She firmly believes that the daughter she has devoted all her energy to raising is outstanding." Previously, when Jiang Zhen performed poorly on an exam, she lied and said the grading machine for the answer sheets malfunctioned, and the teacher refused to adjust the scores. So when the homeroom teacher called Mom to discuss Jiang Zhen's grades, her attitude was terrible. Later, she rarely asked about Jiang Zhen's performance at school, only caring about her grades in the cram school. Though no one knew how Jiang Zhen managed it, but judging by her cram school results, she really was Ivy League material. I covered my face and looked up, staring coldly at my mother. Instantly enraged, she stepped forward and slapped me again. What kind of look is that? She didn't realize that the way she was looking at me now was as if I were her enemy. The taste of blood spread in my mouth. I laughed softly. "Thank you, really. Thank you for those 2 slaps. They made me resolute in cutting ties with you." Mom took away my phone and computer. She locked me in the room. She said my younger sister would go to the Beijing study trip instead of me, and I shouldn't even think about going to school anymore. Shen Quan's movie starts filming next month. I'll be let out whenever I decide to go film the show. She had grown tired of persuading me nicely to take on this role and had started resorting to forceful measures. I gazed at the protective iron bars outside the window. My room now felt like a prison cell. I didn't have dinner. Mom didn't give me any food either. She was waiting for me to give in. In the early hours of the morning, I developed a fever, my palms, constantly damp with cold sweat, pressed against my aching stomach. I curled up on the bed, murmuring, "I feel so sick. Save me," half asleep. I heard the sound of someone banging on the door and the wail of an ambulance. When I woke up again, I was already in the hospital. I took the water cup handed to me by Li Na. I drank a bit too quickly and choked, coughing violently. Li Na patted my back. "The doctor said your fever has gone down, and your mother has been taken to the police station for questioning." I gradually stopped coughing. She continued, "The video you wanted has been edited by someone I found. Are you sure you want to post it?" I nodded. "Thank you, Sister Lena." "Why thank me? I just helped you incidentally." "You should thank yourself for being so quick-witted." She sighed and began to smooth out my messy hair. How could our little princess meet such a person? I used to often play the role of a little princess, but I was never actually a princess myself. I suddenly remembered that when I was a child, I fell ill with a fever after filming a night scene, and it was Li Na who stayed up all night taking care of me. She also made me some congee. The congee had a burnt taste, but I finished it anyway. "Lena, you know, when I was little, I used to wish you were my mom." Lena paused while combing my hair. "But I'm only in my 30s now. How could I have a daughter as old as you? Fine, call me mom if you want, I'm getting the better end of the deal anyway. I turned to look at her. I can't bring myself to say it. I'll just call you sis. Lena laughed. Calling me sis is good. It makes me sound younger. I laughed too. Somehow, my eyes felt a bit warm. There's nothing wrong with my body. But I still had a full checkup. On the third day, I was finally discharged from the hospital. On the day of discharge, the hospital entrance was swarmed with media. Lena wrapped her arm around my shoulder, struggling to push through the crowd as she escorted me into the van. She edited the footage from that night and posted it on Weibo. My mom forced me to take on Shin Kwan's drama, treating me as a cash cow. The news trended on social media. The controversy kept escalating. Lena handed me her phone. In the video on the phone, my mom was being interviewed. She looked at the camera and apologized to me. Ning Ning, I'm sorry. That day, mom was too emotional. But it was all for your own good. Don't be fooled by bad people. Come home quickly. She explained the video content to the reporter, saying I was too rebellious, which was why her way of disciplining her daughter was a bit excessive. She also said that I'm not good at studying, and making me film movies was for the sake of my future. I have to admit, during the interview, she cried with such emotion. Her acting was quite impressive. Public opinion online really did shift to her side. After all, in the public's perception, I'm seen as empty-headed, easily swayed by others and prone to being deceived. Lena clicked her tongue. The bad person your mom mentioned must be me, although she didn't specifically mention my rebellious behavior in the interview. But the very next news headline read, after being called empty-headed, Jiang Ning was caught cheating during the final exams. I took out my newly bought phone and logged into WeChat. A bunch of messages popped up. Jiang Zhen, sis. You just haven't read enough books. The little brain you do have is only used to scheme against your own family. The internet was right. You really managed to mess up a perfectly good hand. Mom, Ning Ning, I never realized how deeply you've been thinking about all this. You're really something. Installing surveillance in your own room. What does it matter even if you recorded all that? Everyone knows how good we've been to you, even if we scold you occasionally. It's just our duty as parents to discipline you. You should understand that if you dare to cut ties with me, you'll be unfilial, and no one will stand by your side, except for that night when she slapped me twice. She had always been gentle and indulgent toward me, never even raising her voice in anger. That's why she was so confident, thinking that even if I installed surveillance in the room, I wouldn't catch her in the act. She was overconfident, believing there were no flaws in her plan. But poison, even wrapped in sugar, is still poison. At that moment, the homeroom teacher sent a message. She sent me the scanned copy of my exam paper along with a cheering emoji. In this world, what's genuine can never be fake, and feigned affection can never be real. The van drove through the bustling streets and stopped at the entrance of the police station. Today is the day my mother and I attend mediation. I sat in the mediation room, looking at my impeccably made-up mother, and slowly spoke. I don't accept reconciliation. She forced me to shoot those explicit films, and I can't accept that. Mom was clearly paving the way for your future. She placed a hand on her chest, looking utterly distressed. You didn't have to shoot if you didn't want to, and there was no need to say such things to slander me. The mediating officer was moved by her exaggerated acting and tried to persuade me. Every parent's heart aches for their child. Your mother couldn't possibly mean you harm. Funny thing is, she actually would. She's been raising me to be a fool all along, just to control me better. I curled my lips slightly. Luckily, I've been secretly studying behind her back. I turned my head and looked at the officer. I'm still a minor, but I have the right to personal freedom and education. Yet she locks me in my room and won't let me go to school. Those were just angry words. Mom interrupted me. Ning Ning, you have the best food and clothes at home. How can you say such heartless things? The police officer said. You know you're a minor. Legally, your mother is your guardian. The law also states that if a 16-year-old has their own income and can support themselves, they become a fully capable civil actor and no longer need a guardian. I looked at Mom and smiled faintly. If I remember correctly, both you and Jiang Zhen live off the money I earn from acting, don't you? Mom opened her mouth but said nothing. In 2 more months. I'll be 18. Isn't it too late for you to try to get custody of me now? The mediation ultimately failed. I had only taken a few steps out of the mediation room when Mom came running after me. She held my wrist with one hand and gripped her phone with the other. On the phone screen was the statement I had posted on my way to the police station. The content of the statement was simple. I merely acknowledged the hard work I had put in over the past 2 years. I deliberately scored low before, just to avoid my mom's interference while studying. After the statement, I also attached scanned copies of my final exam papers and cloud storage links to the surveillance footage. The camera was aimed at my desk, clearly recording my study process. My mom would occasionally enter my room. Her words to me were quickly clipped by netizens. "You're going to be an actor and a star in the future. Why waste time learning these useless things? Your foundation is so weak, it's too late to start over now. Don't waste your time, you can watch dramas or play games if you want, or mom can give you money to go out and have fun. If you really want to learn, go ahead, only after being knocked down will you realize the gap between you and your sister. Look at you, last place again. Maybe you're not cut out for studying, but you could always make money by acting when you grow up. Ningning, Director Shen is offering such a high salary for this movie. Just take it, if you can't even study well. What else can you do besides acting? I'm only thinking about your future. Would I ever do anything to harm you?" Her words were spoken gently, but no matter how gentle, they were still sharp blades aimed at me, because her words carried belittlement, manipulation, suppression, and emotional blackmail. I'm not stupid. I heard it clearly. Everyone heard it clearly. What kind of mother is this? Always telling her daughter not to study. She just wants to control Jiang Ning to make money for her. It's terrifying when you think about it. She made Jiang Ning act in Shen Quan's movies. Definitely not a good mother. Jiang Ning barely attended school growing up. Imagine how hard she must have worked to achieve what she has. She studies until dawn every day, to the point where passers-by would cry seeing it. Jiang Ning was a child prodigy star when she was young. My baby is so impressive. Jiang Ning must cut ties with her family who only knows how to exploit her. Public opinion has completely turned in my favor. I lowered my gaze, my eyes settling on the wrist tightly gripped by my mother. The spot where she held me had turned red. I could clearly feel her entire body trembling with anger. "You're quite the actor, playing the fool for over 2 years, all just an act for me. I raised you so well." I curved my lips slightly. "Actually, my acting skills have always been quite good." She was so angry with me that she was left speechless, then began shouting indiscriminately, "You little bitch." Her hand rose again, but someone quickly pulled her away. Suddenly, a woman's voice rang out, "Don't you dare touch her." I turned my head to look at the woman who had just walked in through the door. She had a slender figure and an elegant demeanor, backlit by the light. I couldn't make out her face. A faint jasmine fragrance wafted towards me as I approached. I could clearly see her tear-filled eyes and the face that bore such a striking resemblance to mine. In that instant, I realized she was my biological mother, yet, my heart seemed to stir only momentarily. It turns out, I wasn't my mother's biological child. That explains everything. My gaze fell on the two bodyguards in black and a foreign man standing behind her. It seems she didn't abandon me because she couldn't afford to raise me. Her name is Su Shui. She is my biological mother. She was very young when she was pregnant with me, and her health didn't allow for an abortion, so she secretly gave birth to me and handed me over to her senior, Li Paya, to raise. Li Paya assured her that she would raise me as her own daughter. In the photos Li Paya sent her, I was often dressed in beautiful dresses that even her own daughter didn't have. Always looking well-loved, so she always thought I was doing well. Su Shui got married soon after completing her studies abroad. Several years later, unable to bear the guilt any longer, she confessed my existence to her husband. When she wanted to take me back, Li Paya refused. Ningning has grown attached to us. It would be so cruel to take her away now. Look, she loves acting and is very happy with her life now. I will do my best to help her achieve her dream and become a star. If she knew you abandoned her in the past, would she hate you later? I grew up staying by Li Paya's side. She received the substantial living expenses sent by Su Shui, as well as the earnings from my acting roles. She lived a comfortable life, wholeheartedly nurturing her own biological daughter. Later, Su Shui even hired a private detective in the country. The private detective's investigation revealed that I was doing very well. As everyone can see, I'm doing just fine. It wasn't until Su Shui saw the video abroad of Li Paya hitting me and forcing me to accept acting roles that she finally understood the whole truth. On the day we set off for the study trip to Beijing, Su Shui found me. During this time, she had been staying in the country, using all her resources. She completely freed my life from Li Paya. She was full of guilt toward me and couldn't even look me in the eye. Her voice choked with emotion. "Ningning, Back then your mother was still a student. So I couldn't raise you. I always thought you were doing well, and I couldn't bear to disturb you. But am I really that unforgivable? Ning Ning, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Looking into her eyes, I smiled gently and said, I never actually hated you. I used to celebrate my birthday with Jiang Zhen, and I just found out my real birthday is actually a month earlier, so now I'm already 18 years old. I'm an adult now, no longer at an age where I need my mom. I've grown up well, all by myself. After saying that, I hailed a taxi to the airport. Through the car window, I saw her still standing there, her whole body trembling, crying until she nearly fainted. The first time I met her was when I was born. This was the last time I saw her. Goodbye, TXT. Half a year later, I got into Tsinghua University as I had hoped. After losing her financial support, Li Paiya pinned all her hopes on Jiang Zhen. A classmate mentioned that after Jiang Zhen stopped attending expensive tutoring classes, her grades actually improved, but later, she was caught cheating during the college entrance exam and had her qualification revoked, failing to get into university. Jiang Zhen's long-suppressed material desires, instilled by Li Paiya, suddenly erupted. She began shopping and spending frantically, maxing out multiple credit cards. Li Paiya now needs to sell her house to pay off her daughter's debts. She seems truly desperate, even calling me to apologize and confess, hoping I would forgive her. When she apologized to me, I only found it absurd. Actually, what you regret isn't the harm you caused me, you just regret not discovering those little tricks I was playing behind your back sooner, which allowed me to slip out of your control step by step. On the other end of the phone, she remained silent. I asked her softly, who do you think is the fool now? Dark Blue was screened at an international film festival and received an enthusiastic response. I even got nominated for Best Actress. I was only 11 years old when I starred in this movie. I might become the youngest winner of this award. 1 week before college started, I received an invitation from the film festival organizers. Zhou Yan drove me to the airport. He drove very steadily, which didn't quite match his rebellious image. After the car came to a gentle stop, he turned his face to look at me, grinning with a bit of a rogue charm. After school starts, you should call me senior, junior. I still prefer you calling me sister. No way. I raised an eyebrow at him. If you don't call me that now, you'll have to call me Best Actress Sister when I get back. I smiled at him and got out of the car with my bag. I hadn't taken 2 steps when he called out to me, see, sister. He really called me sister. The sunlight was scorching, and the breeze brushed gently against my face, carrying the lingering warmth of midsummer. The young man's eyes and brows were full of vigor, yet his cheeks were slightly flushed. Just this once, I smiled at him. See you when school starts, senior. The moment the plane took off, suddenly, I recalled what Zhou Yan had said to me in the car. He said, Jiang Ning, I didn't know you were in such a difficult situation when you asked me to tutor you back then. I should have helped you more. You've already helped me enough. I sincerely thanked him. Thank you for saving a struggling student. He smiled and said, I didn't save you. The one who saved you was yourself. You redeemed yourself. In the future you will always be free. I gaze out the window as the plane cuts through the swirling clouds. Pale sunlight dances upon the sea's surface, its shimmering reflection swaying. The future me shall forever remain free. After hearing the 2 stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.